Hey everybody, it's Allie and Kevin, and we are here relaxing. I just got back home from doing a lot of shopping. Shopping addiction, definitely a problem. Going from being, addicted to food to addicted to shopping. It's a tough one. I plan on talking about it one of these days, but I'm still trying to work through this. It's tough. Anyway, this video is the video that was highly requested. If you missed one of my previous videos where I gave you my latest update on Manjaro 12.5 and gave you the update on my blood work and all that fun stuff, then this video is going to seem like it came out of the blue. But in one of my tangents, as I always do, I started talking about when my dad and I went to get scuba dive certified when I was younger. And I said that I have some really great scuba diving stories, and if I got enough shark emojis that I would tell you guys the stories. So that is this video, and I'm going to cut right to it because I have a lot of really great stories and I'm not going to leave you hanging. So we went on a boat trip to the Bahamas. It wasn't like a cruise. It was like a scuba diving trip. There were 8 other adults. I was the only kid. I was 13 or 14 at the time. And, anyway, so we went to the Bahamas. You go out, the instructor, right, scuba diving instructor is going to test you on everything you've learned. And then you do various dive types in order to get your certification. For example, a cave dive, a night dive, a shallow dive, a deep dive, right? And there's more and more and more, but I'm not going to go into all. You're not trying to get certified. You just want to hear the story. So anyway, so we're out there. I'm having a blast. I'm loving the crew. I'm loving being on a boat. Like when I was younger, I was convinced that I wanted to go and work for Greenpeace or like a research vessel that researched marine mammals. That was like my dream. Then I found out that, I had to take all these classes in math, and math is not my strong suit, so I gave up on that. But seeing as that I am adult now, and I can say that without a doubt, you don't need math. That's what we have computers for. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't do it, but it's okay. So we go out and we do a couple of dives for various certifications. I was doing, there was a certification for, identifying tropical fish. And so you take like a little underwater pad and like a little righty thing, and then you find whatever it is, right? You have a list of things that are common in that area. And then you take your, dive instructor and you show them that you've identified all these things. So anyway, we were on that dive and I had found my 10 fish, which was great. My dive instructor's like, yeah, giving me the thumbs up. So you dive in teams, right? So my dad is my dive buddy. And Dad, if you're watching this, I love you so much, but you are such a challenging dive buddy. And I have told him this to his face because you get him underwater and it's like kid in a candy store. He's just excited and he like swims off, and I'm having to chase after him, like, cause you have to stay within a certain distance of each other, right? In case something were to go wrong. Anyway, so I'm like constantly chasing him down, and I'm trying to show him stuff, and he's like, getting distracted. Well, I'm kind of hovering over this coral area, and I see something moving kind of where the coral is like a ledge sticking out. And I see something moving underneath, and I was like, oh, I bet it's a nurse shark. And I love nurse sharks. I think they're so pretty. So I just kind of blew out all of the air that was in my lungs, right? And you're wearing weights, so you just kind of gently sink down if you don't, take another breath. So I was just kind of letting myself kind of sink down to where the little sand area was, right? So I'm not landing on coral. And I look underneath and there's this huge green moray eel. I mean, it was gorgeous. and scary, right? Because, you know, they breathe with their mouth and they're like, wah, wah, right? So I'm a teenager, so I'm like wigging out. But this is the first time I've ever seen one, A, in real life, not in like an aquarium, and B, one that's this big. I mean, this thing was huge. Huge. So I'm doing my little clicker. There's like a little clicker, and some people have like different sound devices. Like our instructor has a quacker, right, to get everybody's attention. You can hear it underwater. So I'm doing my little clicker, and I'm trying to Morse code to my dad, hey, get back over here. And he's, you know, lollygagging, looking at stuff. So I very gently get up from the little sand area, swim as hard as I can over to him, and I grab his fin and yank. Scared him half to death, bubbles flying up, and he was so mad. And I was like, get over here, come here. Right, you use all this kind of hand motioning and sign language, right? Because you're underwater, you can't talk to each other. There's just bubbles coming up. So anyway, so he turns around and he comes with me, and I bring him over to the spot and I have him sit down, right? So he's like on his knees in the sand next to where this ledge is. So I kind of lay down and I'm looking underneath, and I can kind of see it, but its head is turned the other direction because the coral, it's got a ledge that sticks out, but there's apparently a pass through to the other side. So the head is sticking out the other side. So I'm kind of like trying to move the water, right? I'm going like this to move the water to make it think that there's like a fish there, so it'll turn around and come back to our side. It didn't work. It couldn't have cared less about what I was doing. So my dad is like, he's looking at me, and I'm sure he was thinking it was like a nurse shark or, you know, something not exciting. So I give him the, you know, give me a minute. So I go and reach my hand in and just very gently go around its body and gently start pulling it out. Now, moray eels are not very aggressive. Mind you, don't touch wildlife. Let me just start there. Well, my dad got sidetracked, apparently. Where do I get my ADD from? Right? So he's like still on his knees in the sand, but he's looking over there, not paying attention to what I'm doing. So I pull the eel out, and it just kind of comes out just real gently, like a big scarf. And so I'm just kind of using my hands to pull. This thing is like this big around. I mean, it had to be 6 feet long. I mean, just a huge, its head was as big as my head, like just huge. So I pulled the body out, and it's like, it's kind of looking at me, but it's just kind of looking around, right? Because I'm just doing it real slowly, right? Not aggressive. And it's a predator, so it's not thinking somebody's trying to eat him. So it kind of wraps itself around me, just real gently, just curious about, you know, everything I'm wearing. And so I reach over and tug on my dad, and he turns around, and I've got this moray eel out. Bubbles are flying. He is freaking out. He's freaking out. Okay, sorry. Kevin had to go potty, so I had to bring it outside. So anyway, he was freaking out. So we get up topside, and he's like laying into me. Don't you ever do that again. Da, 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 da. So I'm just kind of like sulking in the corner, right? I'm the only teenager on a boat full of adults. And everybody's like, what happened? What happened? And I was like, well, I was trying to show him this moray eel, and I pulled it out from underneath the rock, and he freaked out. He thought I was going to get hurt. And everybody was just like, oh my gosh, don't do that. Don't touch stuff. And then, of course, they were like, that's so cool, though. That's so cool that you saw that. So anyway, that's the moray eel story. Now let's go to the shark dive. So this was a couple of days later. One of the certifications, again, that you can do is a shark dive. So essentially everybody goes all the way to the bottom. it's relatively shallow, and it's very beachy. There's not like a lot of coral and stuff. So you're mostly just kind of like in the middle of nowhere in the sand. But they feed the sharks, right? So that they come over. So everybody kind of on your knees, right? Kind of in a circle down at the bottom of the ocean. And once everybody's positioned, they'll, drop the bait in the middle, and then all the sharks come in. And for the most part, it was a lot of, relatively small nurse sharks. There were a couple of bigger sharks. I don't remember what kind they were, but it was nothing really spectacular. Like, as big as like sushi or Sega, right? Like 60 pounds, like not a big shark. So we're taking our underwater pictures, right? You keep your arms in close, right? Don't flail around, don't wear anything shiny. So we're watching the sharks, and they're going to the bait, and then they're like swimming in between us, right? Because we're all kind of spaced out. Well, my dad was trying to stay really close to me because he didn't want the sharks to come between us. He wanted them to go around us, right? Protective dad thing. So anyway, he's looking off to the side, and I was looking off to this side, and this huge shark comes between us, and it's like, boom, and it just kind of like knocks us forward a little bit, and you look up, and all you see is this shark body, right? Just like coming through. So my dad is like bubbles everywhere, wigging out, right? So I kind of help him get upright so he's back, because it completely knocked him over. So I get him upright, and then I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. So it was a lot of fun, but it was really funny to watch my dad get knocked over by a shark. Okay. Next up, we have the shipwreck site, where we do a dive at the shipwreck during the day and then a dive at night. And this is for the night certification, right? For a night dive. There are different rules. There are different things you have to keep in mind, right? And of course, there are different, animals to identify that come out at night that are not out during the day. So we dive the site during the day. It's really cool. And there's these really big sucker fish. And I'll put a picture of them up so you can see them. And I'm like, oh, those are so huge. It's like, that's like what you would see on the side of a whale or something, right? And I'm really perplexed by this, and they're just kind of like hanging out in this shipwreck area. And I'm really confused because there's nothing there other than small fish. So they just kind of, in schools, hanging around. Okay. The shipwreck was cool, by the way. Now it's time for the night dive. Now this is my first night dive, and I was nervous. So I told my dad, I was like, I need you to stick close to me until I give you the okay signal. Do not do that thing where you go get distracted by something and then I'm there in the dark with my flashlight in the middle of the freaking ocean. And he was like, you got nothing to worry about. You're going to be fine. Everybody else is going to be down there with their flashlights. You'll be able to see. But I was scared, right? I mean, I'm a kid. And I was like, okay, but just let me get down there. Let's meet at the bottom of the anchor line, right? Because you go in backwards, and then you have to kind of orient yourself and then go down the line. Again, not super deep in this area. So if you panicked and, shot up to the surface, you'd be fine. So I was like, he was like, just get to the anchor line, go down, and I'll be waiting for you there at the bottom. I was like, okay, great. Sounds perfectly good. So my dad goes in. He's like, I'm going to go first so I can, be down there. So my dad goes in, and I see him with his flashlight. I mean, pitch black. I mean, you're in the middle of the freaking ocean. There is no light pollution. So I can see him with his light going down, and there are other people going down off the other end of the boat, right? So I can see their flashlights, and I can kind of see the sandy bottom and make out like the shadows of the ship. So I'm like, okay, all right, this is going to be more lit up than I thought. I'm not going to be in the pitch black of the ocean, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be okay. So I drop in and I'm swimming over to the anchor line, right, to go down to where we're supposed to meet. And it's a little disorienting because you go backwards off the boat, right? I'm sure you've all seen divers, go in backwards. So you have to kind of orient yourself, which is much more challenging in the dark, right? Because there's no obvious up or down or left or right if you're, Anyway, so I right myself and I can kind of see the flashlights and everything. So I'm getting ready to start swimming over to the anchor line so I can just pull myself down the line. When all of a sudden I hear all this dinging. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, hey, Sushi, good girl. You go potty. You're a good girl. And I'm like, what is that sound? And then all of a sudden, this sea of red hits me in the face. And it's these tiny krill. And they're hitting my mask and hitting my tank. And that's the dinging. So it's like ding, 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 ding. I can't see anything. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And it took me a second. It's really overwhelming because like there's so many coming at you. It's just like this big blob of red. So anyway, I kind of swoosh them out of the way and they, eventually I get to the end of the blob of krill and make it over to the line. So I'm going down the line and I want to be able to see where I'm going. So my dad, when he goes down the line, he goes down feet first because that's how he feels comfortable. When I go down the line, I go head first because I want to see what I'm coming up on. So I'm going down the line, I'm taking my time, I stop, I do my break, right, which you have to do for, air bubbles, all that stuff. So I get to the marker, I take a break, I'm looking around, I'm watching people down below, with their flashlights. I can see the ship now. And something hits my legs, right? So my legs are up in the air, right? And I'm head down and I'm just holding on to the line. Something hits my legs. So I look up and I'm thinking maybe I'm holding up another diver, like they're also using the line. So I'm thinking I could move over. So I look up and I shine my flashlight. There's nothing there. And I'm like, I know something just hit my legs. Like it was a pretty rough bump, right? Like, I'm like, what was that? Okay. Creepy. Let's just keep going. So I start going back down the line. And I can see my dad through a misty curtain of bubblage. And he's like doing a somersault. He's not quite to the bottom yet, and he's like in a somersault. And I'm like, what on earth is he doing? So his feet are coming around and up over his legs. So I kind of right myself. So now I'm upright instead of going head first. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm shining the flashlight and I'm trying to see what's happening, but it's all these bubbles and I can't see squat. And I'm like, what? Then, so I'm kind of legs down, dangling, holding onto the line. All of a sudden, my legs are kicked out in front of me and I am flipped completely backwards, upside down. And I am now head first, this close, with a giant turtle. It was huge. So when we finally get to see these turtles from afar, they are the size of like a Volkswagen Bug. And that's not an exaggeration. These things are massive. And what was happening was the sucker fish were attaching themselves to the turtles and covering up their eyes. So the turtles were bumping into divers. So I was seeing my dad in a somersault because a turtle had knocked his legs up from under him and he was going upside down, right? And then here I am having the opposite happen as one hits me. And it was just these massive turtles. I mean, I've never seen anything that big, not even on National Geographic. It was huge. And these poor turtles, they couldn't see where they were going because the sucker fishes are trying to clean their face, right? It was unbelievable. They were ginormous. Anyway, that is just a few of my fantastical diving stories. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure that you leave me some fish or some shark emojis down below if you did enjoy this story time with Allie. If you're looking for the regular GLP-1 content, it will be coming back to you in the next video. I just wanted to give you guys something a little bit different. So, yeah. If I get a chance, I'll try to include some pictures in this video so that you can kind of see everything that happened. It was really phenomenal. I mean, just a life-changing experience, and I'm so grateful that I got to have it. Maybe next time I'll tell you guys about scuba diving in Hawaii, which was also a wild time. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Be kind, rewind.